Okay, let's talk about the Totaku collection that was announced over the weekend. And let's just get this out of the way now. Yes, they are riding on the waves of Amiibo. They just are. Yes, there's not any NFC chips in there, and you're not going to be scanning them. Here's the thing though. Sony has a history of copying a lot of stuff from Nintendo, whether fanboys like to admit it or not, that's up to them. But it's just factual. And the problem with this is you can tell they're riding off the waves of the Amiibo success by they're advertising them the exact same way. The boxes are the exact same style boxes as Amiibo. And just look at the way they're advertising them. Like, compare it to the first image of the Amiibo when they were being released alongside Smash Brothers back in 2014. It's the same style. Now I know what you're thinking. But try. Sony's not doing this. It's ThinkGeek. It's a GameStop only thing, blah blah blah. True, but Sony's the one licensing them and pushing them. They are advertising them, and the fact of the matter is, it's like they did this on purpose because look at all the publicity it's getting. So yes, and it's a missed opportunity because, see, I look at it this way. We talk about Sony always copying Nintendo. Look at the Wii Remote, look at the PlayStation Move. The PlayStation Move definitely copied off the Wii Remote. But here's the thing about that. The PlayStation Move was good. I mean, it was the same thing as the Wii Remote, but the fact of the matter is the Wii Remote was so good, when you copy that, you get more of the same. It's good. Unlike what Microsoft did with the Kinect, where they decided to copy but still do their own thing, and it ended terribly. As you guys know, the Kinect is now discontinued, and Microsoft doesn't even talk about it anymore, even though it was supposed to be the revolutionary, gaming thing. I remember when the Kinect first came out, all the Xbox fanboys were all saying that we're all going to play like that one day. Yeah, not so much. So the PlayStation Move, it was a copy of the Wii Remote, no denying that. But that doesn't mean it was bad. I bought a PlayStation Move. I own a PlayStation Move. I own two of them, actually. It's actually very fun. The problem with these figures is that Sony, they're trying to ride the waves of the Amiibo success, but the part that actually counts, they didn't even copy. The part that counts, that NFC chip, my apologies, I'm getting tongue-tied, but that NFC chip that you can scan into your games, that's the key. That's what's missing that they did not copy. If there was anything they should have copied, it should have been that. But then you got fanboys already saying that this is an Amiibo killer, this is better than Amiibo because it's slightly cheaper. $3. Ooh, $3. It's slightly cheaper, and it doesn't lock stuff behind a paywall. So less content in your games, and just buying a cheap figure to sit on a shelf, that's an Amiibo killer. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. These aren't made to be Amiibos. These aren't made to be toys to life figures, no, but they are riding on the waves of the Amiibo success. You can just tell by the way they're being advertised and the way that they're going to keep adding figures down the road, just the way the boxes are. It's very, very shameful what they're doing. It's just it's a direct copy of it without actually copying the concept, so that way they can go and say, oh, they're not copies, they're just figures. And then of course, whenever anyone mentions that they look anything like Amiibo, you got all the fanboys sitting there going, well, Amiibo copied off of Disney Infinity and Skylanders back in the day. First off, Nintendo was approached with Skylanders first. So Nintendo already knew what was going on with Skylanders. And secondly, Nintendo's a toy company. they've been making toys and cards and other things that you work with your games for years. Remember the e-reader for the Game Boy Advance? That had cards where you slid them into the e-reader and it read content for your games. What about let's go back even further. What about Rob the Robot for the NES? Nintendo has always made different toys and peripherals that work with your games. Just the fact that this has an NFC chip doesn't necessarily mean that it's the exact same thing as Skylanders and Disney Infinity, especially when they function a lot differently than those figures do. Like, you don't need a separate whole portal for them to begin with. You don't need to constantly have the figure always there. You just need to scan it once, boom, it's there. So Amiibos did come out at the height of the Toys to Life boom, yes. Nintendo saw that it was the perfect opportunity to go into that market, but was it a direct copy of it? No. You can tell by the boxes, the advertising, the way they were pushing them, everything was different compared to the way that Activision was pushing Skylanders. That's just facts. Compared to now, these figures, they're not NFC figures, they're just figurines, so people are hiding behind that, but then they're like, oh, well, you know, it's just figures, doesn't matter. It does matter when Sony's trying to push it as they're advertising the same way. Both Sony and ThinkGeek are advertising the exact same way, the same style of box art. Everything is the same with these, besides the part that counts, the NFC chip. At least if they would have copied that, it would have been decent. It would have been decent because, hey, you know, it would have added something to the games. And don't tell me, you know, because again, you got all these fanboys sitting there saying that, oh, it's better than Amiibo because it doesn't lock stuff behind a paywall. But you know damn well, if it functioned just like Amiibo, you know damn well you guys would eat that shit up. And you would still be saying it's an Amiibo killer, even though it's the exact same thing. Just like back in the day when the PlayStation Move came out, people said it was better than the Wii Remote Plus's one-for-one motion, which is impossible. One-for-one motion is one-for-one motion. The Move and the Wii Remote Pluses did the exact same thing. So whether this has an NFC chip or not in it, whether they scan or not, you're still going to have fanboys sitting here saying that it's not a copy, it's better because of this. If it doesn't have the NFC chip, it's better because it doesn't lock stuff behind a paywall. But if it does, it's better because it functions better or something, as people say. I don't know. But here's the thing. Even if it did have an NFC chip, how long would Sony even support it? Look how long they supported the Move. You know, look how long they supported the iToy back in the day. Hell, look how long they supported the damn Wonder Book during the twilight years of the PS3. That was a failure. So even if they did come out with NFC figures, Toys to Life figures, how long would they be supporting it? And right now, all they're focused on right now is just, as far as extra stuff, they're focused on VR out the ass. VR out the ass. And besides, the PS4 doesn't even have an NFC reader on its controller. They'd probably end up charging you a separate whole freaking portal for it, which goes back to how inconvenient that is with games like Skylanders and Disney Infinity. The whole point behind Amiibos is that they are very convenient. No extra accessories. They work across multiple games, do different functions. You can save data to them. The Amiibos are just universal, and they're just going to keep going. So the fact of the matter is, Sony is, yes, riding the waves of the Amiibo success. The concept is not a copy, but the advertising and the marketing, direct copy, that's just facts. You want to argue about that? That's fine. You can. But I'm only telling you facts. And personally, I'm not going to be buying any of these. They're just figures on a shelf. I don't connect with a lot of these PlayStation characters anyways, as much as I do Nintendo characters. I mean, some of them look cool, yes. The Crash looks cool. I like the fact that they actually got a Wipeout card in there, so it's not just characters, but it's actual like stuff from all their games. That's actually pretty cool. The Kratos, I wish they would have used the classic Kratos, because I'm still not a big fan of the bearded Kratos, because the new game I'm still kind of iffy on it. But yeah, I mean they look cool, but again, it's just I'm not that attached to PlayStation properties as I am Nintendo. It's just but like I said, you're gonna have fanboys eat all this shit up, and maybe as a big Nintendo fan, I've never done anything like that. Whereas like it, people hyping up these figures as an amiibo killer would be like me hyping up World of Nintendo figures and saying, oh, these will kill Skylanders, and it's like they're not even the same fucking thing, So it's just ridiculous, and I think part of the reason that Sony didn't put NFC chips in here is they're testing the waters. They're testing to see how many people are going to eat this shit up. And that way, because right now all their focus is, like I said, is on VR. They're doing VR out the ass. So I think they're testing the waters to see how many people actually eat this shit up. And hey, maybe they will come out with their figures down the road. But again, how supported will they be compared to Amiibo? How much function will they have compared to Amiibo? And how long will Sony support them compared to the Amiibo? Ask yourself that. Look at the history. Look at all the different accessories, peripherals, and platforms that Sony has had. And just look at it. Look at it. I listed off examples. I listed off PlayStation Move. The only reason PlayStation Move even still exists is for the VR. But before VR, it was dead. Look at the iToy. Like I said, look at the damn Wonder Book. Hell, look at the PS Vita. I mean, all the facts are there. Just ask yourself. So, all they're gonna do right now is just ride the waves of the Amiibo success. That's pretty much it.